Hello and welcome to the podcast So Casted. I'm your host, Tara Lockett. I'm super excited because we are kicking off the second season of So Casted. Today is an introduction episode, and I'm super excited because there's a lot of information that I want to share with you. So let me calm myself down because I am a little bit excited. Took me a minute to get here, and now I'm here, and I'm excited to come back because I have a lot of information that I want to share with you this season. The theme for this year is breaking free and becoming whole. And we have a lot of things that are new to SoCasted, and that even it in itself, the terminology new and SoCasted is new. And so when you hear that term, you'll hear new things that are happening in SoCasted. What I wanted to share with you that's happening right now is the website is currently down, but don't worry, it's only down so that we can get it to a level of perfection to help service you better. Also, I want to bring awareness that the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. If you're unsure what that means, I suggest you do a little bit of homework, a little bit of research, and understand where we're going with that in terms of mental health awareness. My passion is seeing others understand why it is important for us to break that cycle. In my opinion, we suffer from something I like to call mental constipation. That means everything is stuck and we don't know how to get it out of our system. Well, that's what this podcast is about. This podcast is about a mental healing journey. I shared my journey in the first season. Now it's your opportunity to take that pathway and become whole in your mind. The goal is to be aware of what the marks look like and how to take that corrective action of healing and fixing that problem. Now, on 4/27/2024, the business name of So Casted was birthed. And we have one full season. You can catch up on YouTube. All 13 episodes is on YouTube, and the first 12 episodes are audio only because we're taking baby steps here. At least we were then. And so the first 12 steps is audio, and then that last 13 episode is video. And this year we're going to do video. And so, again, it takes those steps. We did audio, now we're doing video, and here we are kicking off the introduction of Sarcastic and second season in video. So kudos to that. But I want to share my mission. My mission is healing minds, freeing hearts, and activating change. What does activating mean? And I'm glad you asked. Now, here's how I'm going to give you an illustration that everybody can clearly understand, right? So you walk into a room and it's dark, but you're going in that room for something specific. Now, some of us forget what we went in there for. However, for us to see exactly what we need, we have to flip the switch. And that's what activate means. Okay, we are healing our minds, we're freeing our hearts, and we're activating change. SoCasted is more than a podcast. It is a purpose-driven platform created to confront, challenge, and break invisible chains of mental slavery that holds humanity back from healing and growth. Okay, it is a safe place for real talk, inner work, and a personal growth to continue our human evolvement. Now, we're going to do this through conversation. We're going to do this through talking. We're going to do this through creating a place on website or on social media where we can connect and talk in a safe place. Now, it has to be safe. If it's not safe, then it's not giving us that opportunity to evolve. We have to provide safe places for people. What does that mean? You can't just tell a person that, hey, you can talk to me about anything, and then they talk to you and you ended up going and talking to someone else. That's not a safe place. We have to create environments of safe places for us to free our minds. And that's the only way that we are going to break that cycle. Now, something else that's new to SoCasted is this. I'm going to share 3 things about me. 3 things. And then I'm going to share one. Okay. The first three things is I am determined, I am caring, and I am dedicated. And the one, which is actually somewhat of a negative that I'm turning to a positive, is an increased faith. Okay. Um, my patience is being tested with my health. And that's something that I've been challenged in the last few months is to just have faith and be patient. And so that's the thing that I'm working on in my life. And so what I would ask of you is that you leave a comment and tell me three things about you and one thing that you're working on to improve yourself. Okay? Now, we're going to get into our quotes. This season will be brought to you by La Su. He is a 5th century ancient Chinese philosopher. I'd rather say wisdom than quotes, only because it's words that are shared of wisdom to help us grow. And so this year, when we start off that first episode, we're going to start off with La Su. He again is an ancient Chinese 5th century BC philosopher. And so these are his words given to us as wisdom to grow on. And we're going to get that started on our first episode, the second season. But for now, you have the quote from yours truly, and it's about self-love. And as I say it, I want you to understand exactly what it means to love yourself. Okay, so self-love is basically embracing everything negative and positive about yourself. Okay, because once you embrace that, right, we embrace it. We have to embrace it and hold it because it's important for us to understand that those things will no longer exist once we grow. It'll be new things to embrace, right? Okay, so when you do that, you open up the opportunity, okay? You open up that opportunity to change. And with change brings a human willing to evolve from head to toe. Let's get into this topic today. So the topic today is uncovered 8 known facts of mental constipation. Uncovered cycles, 8 known facts of mental constipation. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read these 8 because it's not something I created on my own. So I do want to give a shout out to Domestic Abuse Intervention Program. I want to thank you, first of all, for helping me understand what I was going through mentally. And secondly, I get the opportunity to help others. Now, this will is a will about 8 things that are stuck in our mind that we have to heal. I personally call them uncovered, the uncovered cycle. 8 known facts of mental constipation. Let's get into it. Using intimidation, using emotional abuse, using isolation, minimizing, denying, and blaming, using children, using male or female privileges, using economic abuse, as well as using coercion and threats. Now, that word coercion, if you've never heard it before, that means kind of something like, someone influencing you, kind of, leading you on, motivating you, coercing you, and threats. Using intimidation. What does it look like? Well, it looks like this. Making others afraid by using looks, actions, gestures, smashing things, destroying property, abusing pets, and displaying weapons. We have to heal. This is part of a cycle. Using emotional abuse, putting others down, making others feel bad about themselves, calling others names, making others think they're crazy, playing mind games, humiliating others, and making others feel guilty. Using isolation, controlling what others do, what others say, what others see, who they talk to, what they read, where they go, limiting outside involvement, as well as using jealousy to say, that's why I did it. Minimizing, denying, and blaming, making light of the abuse and not taking his or her concerns about it seriously. saying that it didn't happen. That one's a deep one because that's said a lot in our families. Shifting responsibility for abusive behaviors, saying others caused it. Shifting blame. We do that a lot. Using children. This one is heavy because I see it too often, especially in our young parents. Making others feel guilty about their children. Using the children to relay messages. That's a huge no-no. Keep the kids out of it. Using using visitations to harass him or her. And then threatening to take away the children. It's like I want to stop and pause on all of them, but I would love to have a discussion talk because I know a lot of people going, what? Yeah. Let's go to using male and female privileges, threatening or treating others like a servant, making all of the big decisions, not as a collective couple, but it's because I said so. Acting like the master of the castle, being the one to define the roles in the house. Using economic abuse, preventing others from getting and keeping a job, making others ask for money. I laugh at that one only because I had a conversation. I'm going to take a break because this is pretty heavy. But I had a conversation with a sister. She's no longer living, and rest in peace, Debbie. And we talked about money and giving allowances. So I couldn't believe it. I said, you really give this dude allowance? Like her dude, like you really give him allowance? Like I said I couldn't date you. I couldn't date you. I'm not gonna work 40 hours a week and then you give me a $20 allowance and tell me to make that work. No. But it is a good memory of my sister, so I'm happy to mention that. But that's a no-no. Taking money. That one's bad too. That caused a lot of problems in my family where my father took money from my mother, which caused a lot of damage. Not letting others know about or have access to family income, and then using coercion and threats. Making and or carrying out threats. Now this means that in that process, okay, of this cycle, in the process of the cycle, that means that it can get to this level. And it can. Trust me, it can. Okay? But we can't let it get to that level. And if we are already there at that level, seek help. Threatening to leave, threatening to commit suicide, to report others to welfare, and making others drop charges. Do not do that. Or making them do illegal things. This is the cycle. But I'm not going to leave you hanging. I promise you. In this cycle, we must break it. Okay? That is that theme. To break free and become whole, we have to break that cycle. And in breaking that cycle, and in my own experience, and yes, I've had some of these experiences that I myself had to break because I was a part of that cycle at one point too. Now, what I've done is I put a little note for myself on this information that I received, and I want to share it with you before I close. Power and control is a real thing. It is connected mostly to physical and sexual violence, but power can change. You can take that back. Change leads to humility. Once you take back your power, be humble enough to be okay with the growth that comes along with it, because you're going to need that. And then be grateful. If you're not sure about that, then check out the first season episode of Hello Mag, and that'll kind of give you an insight of what that means when it comes to being grateful. Be honored. Okay? And glory be to God. And then there's growth. What is growth? Now we have to understand what that growth means. Growth is a seed. A seed is planted. That seed grows. Depending on what is deposited in an individual when that seed grows, it will help you understand where you identify in this cycle. Control. Control leads to respect. Respect leads to unconditional love, which leads to empathy, which leads to patience, and it helps you to not react. Then you remain calm. Remaining calm gets me to that level I share with you about what I'm working on, which is my faith. Excuse me. Okay? I am working on that. That helps me understand and remain calm. Now, here's something I want to share with you. You have no control over others. And if you are an individual who feel the need to control others, please seek help. We have to learn to be the example. And when we learn to be that example, we also learn to give, again, all glory be to God. I was talking to a gentleman about that, and I told him, I said, you know how we see the Olympics, the gold is right there at the top, and the silver and the bronze. I'm okay staying on the level of that silver bronze as long as God is okay and long as he's at the gold. Now, I'm not a religious person. I am extremely spiritual because I do believe that everything that exists because it was created by God. And I also use the word terminology gold, which means giver of life and giver of death. And so that's what I wanted to share with you in regards to power and control and the uncovered 8 known facts, uncovered cycles, 8 known facts of the mental constipation. I want to thank you so much for watching and listening. You are on the podcast Soulcasted. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Please share it not in the sense of trying to get back, but share it in the sense of helping each other grow, because the theme is breaking free and becoming whole. And in order for us to break free and become whole, we must break that cycle. Okay? And together we can. Together we can break it. Together we can break those mental chains. We can heal our minds. We can free our hearts, and we can activate the change that's needed. Soulcasted exists to help all the existence of humanity. So I say cast it. Shatter it. Shatter the cycle. Break the pain and become whole. Why? Because your minds matter and is the vision of our future.